Hello, welcome to your tarot reading of the day. My wonderful collective, how are you doing? How have things been? Tell me in your head. Let's just start right away. Four of Cups, Five of Pentacles, Ace of Cups, and the High Priestess with the Ace of Swords in reverse, kind of rounding it out at the bottom of the deck. A download I got earlier was help yourself out. So I think that you may be utilizing stillness and quietness and even material financial boundaries as ways to measure your success, I heard. Which is interesting because people have a very rigid and limited idea of success these days. So I think you finding inspiration within yourself as enough motivation to see this silver lining, but what I really heard was like the starlight of your situation. You're able to fundamentally improve and change how you go about things. Channel's very open. I'm definitely getting a download, so that is a lot of cards. I just want to ask for Spirit's assistance on this reading to tell me whatever the collective needs to hear today. Knight of Pentacles, and then we got the Devil out to the side here. So that can definitely speak of, and the Hermit when I shuffled at the bottom of the deck now. That can definitely speak of materiality at its finest and fullest potential, I actually heard. So when you combine laying to the side whatever egotistical things your mind might be telling you that you need instead of what you can attain slowly and at a natural rate, basically, like your ego is trying to say, is this the right way to go? Are we deciphering this correctly, is what I just heard. But realistically, it's kind of like what's slower is what's keeping you going, is what's keeping you motivated. So that's the only reason for uneasiness, is the technical speed at which you're moving. It's not easiness interesting. It's not an easy task you're doing. It's not an easy road that you're traveling. It's not an easy meal that you're preparing. So it's taking steps. There are plenty of moments of boredom in between, because I get the feeling that at one point in your life you found a lot of joy in partaking in chaotic or haphazard types of situations and things, and now you're finding that order and clarity, even without a lot of flourishing, brings a different kind of pleasure to your life and your situation and your existence, basically. And you're finally doing something alone that you've been waiting to do alone for a long time, is what it feels like. You're kind of like, I can finally set down my things, not be observed in a way that I don't consent to, and show up in a way that I want to be seen, is what I'm getting for you. Let's pull some more cards. Eight of Wands. And push that back a little bit. There we go. Justice in reverse, Two of Wands upright. It's like you grounded yourself in the heat of the moment, which felt like maybe it was pressurized or a little more like specific than you wanted it to be, if that makes sense. I'm getting close to the line. We're just establishing kind of like a foundation right now, and there are a few distractions that I'm just going to turn down a little bit. Or am I? It's fine. Sometimes visual distractions can be a point of focus. Maybe that's what I'm getting for you. If you're feeling like there are distractions in your space, maybe it's something that you don't feel great talking about. Let's get a little more focused in on exactly what we need to move towards in this reading. Star in reverse. You're walking away from an unwillingness to be observed. Maybe you were chronically avoidant in the past with the Six of Cups here, and it just didn't serve you to always be running out of the room or just not wanting the light to be near you as I brought it over. I think someone thought that your light was a mask or a cover when it was your true essence. Like, you emitted light in areas that you shouldn't have been able to without being seen. You emit like an invisible light, which feels like aura, right? It's giving galactic being for sure. You've been feeling restless because people are trying to compete for this invisible light. It's like they don't know why they're whacking you over the head constantly, but they feel the need to, right? Do you feel a little accosted or attacked lately? I definitely felt like that energy yesterday. For some reason, it just felt like it was coming from all directions, but some days are like that. Some days it hails. So I've been getting a lot of metaphors for ice melting. I've been hearing a lot of sounds of ice melting. There's a kind of thawing that's happening, and I think it has something to do with you walking away from being frozen. Like, you are kind of shaking things off. When you sit still, it feels more like water, and when you move, it feels more like ice for some reason. That's just what I'm getting with these two cards. So when you're moving, you may think that you're stuck, and when you're stuck, you may think that you're moving. This isn't to create tension in the mind or to punish behavior at all. We're just trying to find our way into what you're envisioning, what you would rather see than the pressure to be a social climber, and this is coming up. So you feel more active and more present and more kind of dutiful in your life when you have a vision, or when you can assess what feels like stagnant or moving water or emotionality. Or does that make sense? Because you exude this invisible magic, this invisible light that people cannot put their finger on, because you can't put your finger on light. And also, it's not always the easiest to identify just because it illuminates. The Three of Wands wants you to do anything but get the wrong idea about yourself, is what I'm getting with this card, with the Ten of Pentacles after. It's kind of like you're at a way stop. You're at a way stop between this place and the next, with the Hierophant behind there. Rather than criticizing or looking at yourself through a critical lens, you have made the decision, or you are deciding to reflect on that material aspect, which is your body. It's very much the material plane is our physical self. You are not choosing to engage more in 3D material matters per se, but you're trying to look at your physical body as a physical manifestation of your desires. Your body provides what you need to be able to do what you want to do. The more you resist your body, the more you fight back against its wishes, the less it will do for you, but the more narrow your path will become. Inevitably, you will find what you're looking for. So what Spirit is asking me to say to you is, rather than pick yourself apart, find that there is just no home to be found in a box of self-criticism. That is a box. So you're feeling into the openness of all energy and your place in it, rather than your kind of absence from the right alignment. A lot of interesting words are coming out. Thank you for kind of, being open with me today, whoever is connecting with me on this. Death and the Empress and Strength. A lot of positive feminine energy here. You're being asked to embrace the void instead of the mirror. And this is something that is going to help a lot of people, what you're doing. When you're deciding not only to look out at what's around you, but basically, purposefully away from the self. The Empress next to the Four of Swords in reverse speaks of a different kind of rest, a different kind of recuperation, a different kind of internal validation is what I just got. And so I think now when you're turning your gaze outward into whatever media you're consuming, you're approaching it with a lot more confidence because you're not using or utilizing those energies in order to pick yourself apart any further, but to put together what feels real to you based on what your body needs. And that's why the ego is kind of teetering, because it doesn't necessarily have a leg to stand on, but it doesn't need to. Maybe it just needs to lay down, take a little ego nap. So you're now willingly and able to engage in media once again in a way that you found irresponsible earlier. That's what I just heard. But now it feels like you're growing. I hope any of this is making sense. King of Swords and the Seven of Wands in reverse, it feels like you've released a burden. It feels like you've released a burden of carrying the weight of people's expectations. It feels like I'm seeing the word unleaded. You've unleaded. I don't know. The Hanged Man in reverse, under Justice in reverse, under the Star in reverse. We have the Star reverse here twice, but I think that's talking about the positive version of exiting a situation. I think the Star reverse can be kind of a daunting negative connotation, but I think it's also a clue when it shows up twice in this way, and it's saying, this is what's holding you back, is picking yourself apart. So, when I picked up the deck, this one stayed behind. You're finding new ideas in this absence of, I'm just seeing the word intense, but maybe just of selves, of the needs of every single aspect of yourself every moment of the day. And you finally have internalized gratitude so much that you're now exuding it. You've done a lot of transmutation. You have put down a lot of vices, and you've put down a lot of opportunities to feel limited by your environment. Hang on, let me get that sorted out. Sorry for the continuity error of the lighting. This is much warmer now, but maybe we can tie in as the light that is now being cast upon you, or that you are being seen as illuminating, has a warmer glow than you're used to it emitting. And I definitely got that with the Magician at the bottom of the deck here. And I feel so much more comforted by this warm light. So there are just minor adjustments that you can make to your situation that will change your aura. And I think you're in the process of doing that. We're definitely talking about manifestation and transmutation, which are definitely essential themes of the Magician. We have the Queen of Swords and the Moon in reverse, and the Fool and the Page of Cups, and the Four of Cups at the bottom of the deck. I see these as players in your life, people that you know, people you've known for a long time possibly, or maybe just energies. Queen of Swords can talk a lot about communication. It's kind of headstrong. I just heard won't take no for an answer. Sometimes that can be a positive thing, and sometimes obviously that can be a negative thing, but maybe there's a Queen of Swords energy either around you or in your life that is feeling a little bit confused about their own motivations. With the Moon in reverse, you could talk about the subconscious. So maybe they're doing a deep dive and just going, there's a mismatch here. And you know what I was saying about how the body will kind of clip you if you're doing the wrong thing? Wrong thing. As in, you're out of alignment, you were doing something that someone else thought would be good for you that you're actually finding was making you very tired, or you felt spread thin, worn down, and your body gave you signals to redirect. Your subconscious can do that as well. There can be messages from the subconscious that are just kind of saying, I don't know why, but something's amiss. And so that's kind of the energy of the subconscious. It's like not a direct answer, which is what the moon card is. I mean, in reverse, I think it can talk about clarity too. So maybe there's someone feeling like they're kind of fed up with not knowing what's going on with them. I just heard. Here's the Four of Cups again. It wanted to come out. So someone either, I think the experience that you're having with this energy is that you're picking up on someone else's concern about approaching mundanity from a place of neutrality. It feels like it's butting against, you know, like their surroundings. Maybe there's other people around this person. Sorry if there's wind blowing from the fan here into the microphone. But there may be someone in this person's surroundings that's kind of saying that it's not right to assess the way that they are. And I feel that this Queen of Swords and this Page of Cups energy is connected in the way that they are reacting to your energy. I think that they feel that there is some kind of loss to how ego kind of was a third party in your trip. It was a backseat passenger on the road trip. And it was misery loves company type of energy. It was kind of codependent, co-regulation, but like of a nightmare. Co-regulating how terrible things are. So you put an end to specifically being in that energy and specifically being stagnated. There's no way that you were going to wait around and see what happened when you stayed in a situation that only fed depression and ego. Does that make sense? I think any human has a breaking point at which they suddenly realize that playing in the ego and on the devil's playground specifically in a way that doesn't align with you, your body's just gonna redirect you. You're gonna be picked up and thrown somewhere else. So somebody needed to hear that. And it's good. It's a good thing. Ultimately, if you look at things from a Buddhist perspective, there's a lot of neutrality towards what happens in life. My throat's closing a little bit, so maybe I won't talk too much about specific schools of thought or, you know, specifically within religion. It's not something I like to go into because, and I had that squeak come back when I inhaled from the last reading. It's very odd. I toe the edge and read as much as I can about what pulls my attention in a direction. So when I'm called to inform myself about a specific deity or a school of thought, or I just happen upon some sort of meditation that feels really spiritualistic and, you know, important to me, then I'll do a fair amount of research. But I don't think this is the place for any of that. I think this is the place to say, we understand the comfort and the relaxation of neutrality without having to use a prose to explain it. It's more like there's a fundamental lack of relaxation happening in someone, either in your surroundings or they were in your surroundings, or they're reminded of you in their current situation. Take it as it resonates. But it seems like there's an aversion around these people to relaxation. There's an aversion to relaxation. And I think you personally needed to relax in some form or fashion, whether it was emotional, spiritual, or physical. We try to get these cards together here because they're slippery now all of a sudden. The sun really wanted to come out, so we're going to leave it out. But you kind of had to leave your body, I'm getting, for a while. You had to dissociate from it to heal. And that totally makes sense to me. I mean, dissociation is a tool of healing. It's also a tool of distracting when under great distress. And you woke up to find that even theoretically, if everyone had left while you were sleeping, there would still be more to come. There would still be more life to live. There would still be more to receive at the end of that. I'm getting like a coma. I don't know, maybe you were in like a deep sleep for a long time, but I think it was to separate yourself from something that was unhealthy. So now you're more so matching energy with who you're around, your paranoia is starting to decrease. Um, you're starting to relax into your environment and say, this is where I live, this is where I belong, and this is where we are. And what that means holistically when looking at the Nine of Pentacles, the Four of Wands, and the Four of Pentacles with the Sun underneath, there's a profound feeling of community either coming towards you or already in your situation that's helping you feel really stabilized. Like you don't need really like anyone but your animals in a lot of ways is what I'm getting, because I see these two characters really comforted by the animals that they're with, and yet not feeling paranoid about isolation in their specific cases because they feel communed with, they feel talked to. There's a form of reciprocity happening here. There's extremely balanced home life for you, I see. So if it's not feeling that way just yet, you're being encouraged to meditate upon it and answers will come. If you sit and you close your eyes for an hour, I promise some bona fide solution will come to you. I know it's really hard to ask people to sit down for a straight hour if meditation is not part of their life already, or it just, you know, the ADHD is just raging too hard that day. Maybe you can just kind of like sit in front of a video game and take a seat physically so that it feels like the stillness might be able to support you. And if you don't like video games, because that feels hard to pay attention to, maybe watch a movie that you know you like really well. Those are my suggestions for kind of clearing home energy that feels unbalanced. It'll give you downloads of what to do next without you needing to like fight too hard to find it or focus too hard on it. Sorry, I just left that here. Alright, Spirit, what else do we have for the collective today? In terms of the competitive energies around you, and in terms of kind of like feeling this sluggish, slowed down energy that the retrogrades are only too happy to provide during this time, you're still finding balance amid the chaos. I mean, I don't want to sound too cliche with the Two of Pentacles, so maybe I can pull an index card to see if we can get a little more nuance into the explanation. What does the collective need to know, Spirit? I can clarify the Two of Pentacles here. You planted seeds in bad soil, and we got a reverse card, so I'm not going to take that. And what does it mean to be alone? You planted seeds in bad soil. So there's that hint again of, you know, you're not alone. You have your bird to talk to, and you're not alone. In the Strength card, you had a lion to talk to, and you're not alone. You have your horse and the sun to talk to. I feel the need to repeat that because it showed up in the index card. So since there were seeds planted in bad soil and there wasn't really a way around watching, you know, horrible plants grow out of the ground that you didn't intend, or just not horrible necessarily. I've never met a horrible plant, but what I mean is something that took your strength. You know, maybe you accidentally created a poisonous garden when you wanted a non-poisonous garden. I was reading a little bit about poisonous gardens, not actually reading, like a TikTok caption reading, but they're pretty cool. But if you don't intend to have one, it can become harmful. So, you know, maybe let's go a little further. What about this soil metaphor, Spirit? Kind of what I'm getting is that like you're getting a miracle out of what people thought would never bear fruit, or like that growth could never happen in this soil, but you planted the seeds anyway, saying let's just see what happens. And I think something amazing, I just heard a miracle. Nine of Wands on its side, so your resilience is being tested. I'm hearing faith of a mustard seed, you know. Is that a where does that parable come from? I don't know. Anyway, getting off track. The Nine of Wands to the side, underneath the Nine of Pentacles and the Two of Pentacles upright with Death. Your garden is being cleared of debris for a new season of growth. And it feels like it's testing your resilience because you don't know how much longer it's going to take to clear what is making way for like this amazing growth spurt that was never meant to happen, but people are just kind of astounded that it did. And I definitely see the Ace of Pentacles a lot of the time as a seed in the ground. In this case, it wasn't the soil, but the seed that made all the difference. The seed itself was so strong. And you're feeling motivated and like you feel not necessarily too much in control of your environment, but in control of, well, I heard of your circumstances, which is different than an environment. An environment is an aspect of circumstance, so there might be something else. And control over the environment's overrated, by the way. It can lead to detachment, which can definitely be spoken upon with the Ten of Pentacles there. But it feels like you're a step before detachment and a step towards closeness and synchronicity and alignment in the home, because you planted kind of this miraculous seed that is bearing fruit even though it wasn't even supposed to for some reason. So I'm going to pull one more card, and I think that might be kind of it. These are both on the side, but I'm going to take them upright. We have the Three of Swords in reverse again. And then we have the Ace of Pentacles again. You planted a miraculous seed. What did you do? What was this idea? It's going to be really abundant if it isn't already. It's going to grow much bigger if it hasn't already. You'll know. And, yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.